All right, welcome, welcome, welcome. I want to thank you guys for tuning in on today, and I hope that you're having a wonderful, wonderful month. It's been a couple of weeks since I have uploaded a share. I have been very busy, as I told you guys a couple of months ago, getting my house in order, okay? And this share is along the lines of getting my house in order, all right? Always getting our spiritual houses in order, right? But natural houses as well. And this, when I speak about this in terms of these shares, I'm speaking about here in Ghana. All right. And so today I have some news. It's not clickbait. I am here with the truth. Okay. So if you are a lover of the truth, please listen to this entire share. Okay, listen to the entire share. I don't know how long it's going to be. I'm just going to flow. But you guys, I have 3 videos that you need to hear. Yes, you need to hear. If you plan on being in Ghana, if you know someone who is in Ghana, if you are currently in Ghana, you need to hear this. Okay, this is a life or death situation, and it could be your very life, all right, or the life of your loved ones. So you see the title? I'm not clickbait, all right? I'm not. All right, so, and anything that I'm sharing in this particular share, or I try to say in every share, right? I'm first partaker of anything that I share to you guys. Even if that situation doesn't apply to me, I can get something out of what is shared and use it to benefit me or to make me a better person or to do better, whatever the situation is. So in this particular share, I'm going to be warning you guys, the water in Ghana and now the food has been proven to be toxic to extreme levels. Do not eat it. Do not plan your life on coming to Ghana as it currently stands. If you love yourself, if you love your children, you're going to take heed to the warnings that are being given in this share. Okay? So, with that in mind, I'm going to let you listen to the first share. I'll be back and you're going to listen to 2 more. All right? Thanks for tuning in. Shalom.
On the pause, the Environmental Protection Authority and Pure Earth are giving some more revelations over alarming poisoning of food crops and fruits in 6 regions across the country. A new study conducted by the 2 institutions in 6 regions, the Eastern, Western, Ashanti, Central, Western, North and Savannah region, has revealed that mercury, lead and cyanide contamination has moved beyond river bodies to daily staples like tomatoes, contomere, and now coconuts and mangoes. Listen to the program's officer at the Environmental Protection Authority, Hopsini Japan, who said out of the samples, Konongo Dumasi and Konongo Zongo have become the heaviest polluted areas, where even getting a contact with the soil in that area can leave one contaminated with heavy metals. He spoke on the Super Morning Show on Monday.
Us in the study is that Konongo Zongo, both Konongo Zongo and Konongo Odumasi, recorded highest level of mercury in the soil. In fact, we are talking about 1,342 part per million. That is the highest level. Now, what it means is that when you come in contact with the soil, which we call in terminology dermal contact, your skin come into contact with the soil that is highly contaminated, you are exposed to it, and it can poison you as well.
Wow.
We're also looking at still in Konongo, we're looking at the water. The water, it's also has higher levels of mercury concentrations, and also arsenic. And of course, if you look at the food chain, you would see some of these contaminations in the food chain as well.
What is more worrying, according to him, is that food crops, including contemporary tomatoes, mangoes, and coconuts, are heavily contaminated in the same area.
I think this is scary, but I just want to urge calm. In Ashanti region, of course, Konongo, we look at the pawpaw, we look at tubers, we look at cocoyam. All of these exceeded the permissible levels of mercury, arsenic, and lead concentrations. That is really worrying. And of course, if you go to other areas like Western North region, Savannah region, western region, we can see contumely, the values as high as 4 milligram per kilogram. That's high. The permissible level is 0.03.
Wow. Hey.
And then we see the same in tomatoes, as high as 4 milligram per kilogram. And then, of course, pepper in Western North. We see contumely as well in Western North. We see contumely as well in Savannah region. And so there's the coconut, even in coconut, mango. We see values as high as 1 milligram per kilogram.
In mango?
Yes, so this is really worrying. And of course, talking about the fish, we see a lot of arsenic. We see a lot of lead. The values for mercury in fish is below acceptable limit, but the challenge is that bioaccumulation. I mean, if you continue eating it in bits and pieces, it accumulates and can be very toxic to your body. So these are some of the things that we've seen.
Let me just ask, should we not be evacuating Konongo? I just want to know, is it safe for humans?
I mean, given the data and the values that we've seen, it's worrying, and it doesn't appear safe.
All right, so I hope this records. Let me continue on. So you guys heard it, right? You heard it from the person who is with Ghana's EPA, all right? The equivalent of our Environmental Protection Agency, I think theirs is the Environmental Protection Association, similar, okay? Same job, same duty, and they, along with, I think it's Good Earth or something like that, another agency, actually a well-known agency, did a year-long study, or 2 year long, I think it's a year and a half, okay, study on the environmental conditions in Ghana, and they found that the food is also contaminated. It's not just the water, it's the food. All right, so you have the water with extreme toxic levels, as he has provided, but also the food and the fish. Okay, so for those of you also who say, well, I'll just use my borehole, you hold on, because the next clip is going to show you that the borehole is also contaminated. That's the groundwater, the water under the ground. Okay, so you have the surface water, which is the rivers that's running off into the ground, soaking into the ground from the rain and other runoff from the soil, from the land where this destruction is taking place, and these chemicals are being released, and it's getting into the groundwater. But it's also getting into your food. You got common everyday food like cocoa yam, which is one of the favorites of the diaspora. You got the actual yam itself, the cocoa yam leaf, which makes the contemporary. You have the tomatoes, pepper, papaya, which is their pawpaw, mango. Everything is being contaminated at extreme levels. What are you going to do? There's no chemical. I have spoken to, as I said in other shares, a friend of mine who worked for a major water treatment plant. Actually, I know several who work for different plants, okay? But I spoke to them about the condition in Ghana, and they told me that just for regular maintenance of water treatment, 1 truckload just for normal levels is $35,000 for 1 truckload just to treat normal levels of this stuff. Ghana is at extreme levels, as you have heard. This will not go away for hundreds of years through natural means. So there are so many things that need to be done. In my opinion, they need to build pipes from Burkina and just pipe this water in, okay? That's my opinion. But listen to the next year. For those of you who think that you're going to use your borehole, the boreholes are contaminated. Hold on and listen to the next expert.
At the University of Mines and Technology, UMAT, has revealed that Ghana's groundwater, long regarded as the safest source of potable water, is now under serious threat due to pollution from illegal mining activities. Presenting findings from his research conducted between 2017 and 2025 at UMAT in Takwa, Professor Ewusi warned that what was initially a minimal threat in 2017 has significantly worsened by the end of 2024 and will continue to deteriorate if illegal mining is not curbed.
Look at the Ankoba River. In 2017, there was no illegal mining activities plenty there. Look at the Bonsa. It was very minimum. But in 2023, it was more like a tenfold. You see all this. And so the conditions had deteriorated. Now look at the Bonsa River. This was taken in 2025. And from what I'm saying now, it means that everything that is happening in the Bonsa River is basically getting into the groundwater. Our children are coming to face it, and it is a serious thing. And the geology we have here, the groundwater movement is not protected. From the river to the groundwater is not protected. So it means that the only way we can ensure that groundwater is protected is that we have to make sure the surface water is clean.
All right, you heard him. He said the only way that we can make sure that we have good drinking water is to make sure that the surface water is clean. So for those of you who have moved out to the central region, which was named among the most toxic regions, if you moved out to the central region, the eastern region, western region, anywhere in Ghana, this is where the food is coming from. All right, so your food is contaminated, your water is contaminated, and your borehole will not save you, because the surface water, which is the rivers and the rainwater, that's all mixing together, and it's getting into the soil, and it's contaminating the aquifers, which is where you get your borehole from. So do not allow anyone to tell you that you can just dig a borehole. It will not work. In fact, Ghana and Ghanaians, particularly wealthy Ghanaians, have been importing water. Let you listen to the next expert, and he's going to tell you where they have been imported water for. The wealthy people have been importing water. So you need to know that you will have to be importing water, and it's not from just, down the street. Listen to where the water is coming from.
Data in 2023 alone, Ghana spent over $11 million importing water, even from our neighbors Togo and Nigeria. And we are importing water from Spain. We are importing water from UK and the rest of them. So the pattern is clear and where people are heading towards. So those who can afford, will begin to gravitate towards that, because you see, because we have not chosen to visit our water bodies and see for ourselves. If you go and see for yourself, you will be very careful if you buy foodstuffs from certain regions of this country. Because if you tell me that you can destroy the environment and then later go and plant trees, look at the longevity, how long it will take to get the land to its original state. It's not something to be contemplated and all of that. So I think those are the things that we want to do. We are talking about it in bit and all of that. We deliver the wonderful speeches from government, from president and all of that. But the action on the ground is lacking. So this government has been in power for almost 7 months, 8 months. If we were serious about ESG at the national level, we should be able to see visible change in our water bodies by now.
All right, guys, y'all heard it. He said that Ghana has been importing water. There's nothing more that needs to be said. And he made it plain that it's the wealthy who will be able to do this. And it's the wealthy who will be, moving in that direction. And so if you want to be in that situation where water is so scarce that only the rich can afford it, and even if you can afford it, you're going to be importing it from the UK, from Spain, from Togo, from Nigeria. Listen, guys, there are 54 African countries. Some will say 53, 54. Some say 55. All right? Please, lengthen your stakes, or strengthen your stakes and lengthen your cords. All right? Check out other countries. I have been saying it. We need to start getting to the point where you are teaching your children French, paying for them to learn French, because most African countries speak French, right? Ghana is a beautiful country. I thank Yah for the blessing of being here with my son, for the many years that we have experienced this country. But you need to know when it's time to go home. Negroes need to know the light is on, the street light is on, and it's time to go home, okay? And you don't have to go back to where you came from. When I say home, move someplace else. You don't have to stay on the African continent. You can go other places if you don't want to be in America. But please be willing to move. Why should you stay here and pretend like the problem doesn't exist? And the truth of the matter is, what's going to happen is some of you are going to get sued. You're going to get sued, especially you land sellers. You're going to get sued because you are failing to disclose very important information. And you're taking money from your fellow Americans, and they're transferring that money through American bank accounts. And so they have the right to sue you. All right, look up the law. I'll be talking about this in future shares. Hopefully, it's going to be very brief because it is what it is. I'm not a lawyer. All right, consult your own lawyer. But you are failing to disclose very important information. And one other expert that I heard this week, I'll just say this, and he was concerned that none of the embassies are warning their people about the condition of the water in Ghana. He was really perplexed by that, right? And I joined him. Why aren't they? Could it be because they are the ones that are benefiting from the end? They're the end receivers of this gold. So they're not going to put out that warning to let anyone know about the hazardous, dangerous, toxic condition of the water in Ghana. We tested our water. I showed you guys, that those who watched, we tested our water, and we tested it again. All right. And in one particular area, I won't say which area, it increased. All right. The level of the substance increased in the water. It was still within the guidelines of what's supposed to be safe using our little cheap little water testing kit, but it had increased. And so, listen, it's up to you. I put it out there. I hope you will share it with others. Please share it with others. If you don't want to heed it, I doubt you're going to share it with others, but if you are, please share it with others. Thank you for tuning in. I thank y'all for your life. Shalom.